Hola, muy buenos días, bienvenidos. Welcome to this session, another one of our grammar sessions, and we're going to look at a tense which is called the perfect tense. En español, el pretérito perfecto. It's a really good tense. Its function is to describe recent events and experiences. It has an inferred link to the present, so it's something that's happened but has a link to the present tense, as you can see from these examples. So I have just bought a mobile phone. Obviously we assume that you've still got that phone, but it was something you did recently. He has recently visited Spain. Again, we've got that word recently there, showing us it's something that's happened within the very, very near past. We have ordered some new games on the internet. They'll arrive soon. And have you seen the latest Bond film? So this is this sort of experiential, this talking about life experiences. Have you ever tasted, have you ever tried, have you ever visited idea. Okay, so in Spanish, let's have a look at the formation. So how is this tense actually formed? Well, it's part of a group of tenses which are called compound tenses, and the idea with compound tenses is that they're made up of two elements, two parts. So we'll look at each part individually, and then we'll put them together with some really good examples in Spanish. So first of all, we have to look at the formation of the auxiliary. This is the helping part, if you like, of the two parts. It supports working with the other element of the tense. And in Spanish, it's from a verb called haber, which means to have, but we mustn't get this confused with the verb tener. Tener is the verb to have when we possess something, like if we're possessing an age or possessing an object or having brothers and sisters. Okay, so they're not interchangeable. You can't interchange them. We have to use tener in our normal Spanish lessons. Okay, haber is only ever used to form this auxiliary tense. Okay, so but let's run through haber. So it's has, ha, hemos, habéis, and an. So that's the auxiliary part. Now let's have a look at the past participle. And this is where we've got a lot of commonality with some of the other work we've been doing, looking at where we conjugate verbs in Spanish. So if we're looking at our AR verbs, okay, what we need to do is we need to par back to get our root, and then we add ado. So we've got hablar, to speak, and we want to say spoken, hablado. Mirar, to watch, mirado, watched. Comprar, to buy, comprado, bought. So we're adding our ado to our root. Okay, over for ER and IR verbs. Now, just like with the pretérito and the imperfecto, those verbs shared common endings for their verbs. Okay, and it's just the same here. So an ER and an IR verb share the idea of ido, comer, comido, eaten, vivir, vivido, lived, decidir, decidido, decided. Okay, so that's that ED idea in English. Okay, so those are the two elements seen separately. Now we're going to stick them together to make our compound. So here are some really nice examples in Spanish using the pretérito perfecto. He comprado un móvil. He comprado un móvil. I've bought a mobile phone. Ha enviado muchos textos esta mañana. Ha enviado muchos textos esta mañana. He or she has sent lots of texts this morning. Han bebido los cafés con leche. Han bebido los cafés con leche. They've drunk 2 coffees. Has visitado Madrid? Has visitado Madrid? In that question there's asking about people's experiences. So, have you visited Madrid? Has visitado Madrid? Okay, so it's a really easy tense to form. Slightly unusual because we're using 2 parts. We're using two elements to the compound, but really quite easy to work with. As ever, if we want to have a little bit more practice, I suggest that you use a QR scanner to access either word reference as a verb conjugator to check the conjugation of verbs, and to give you some more practice on this tense and all the other tenses that we've been looking at in this series. Have a look at Language Gym, really good website to use. If you haven't got yourself a QR reader, then go onto Enigma on an application, on an app, download that, and away you go. So if we just have a look at those in action, so we've got word reference, as I say, really, really good, powerful resource as a dictionary and also as a way to conjugate verbs and just to check that you've got the right conjugation. And then finally we've got Language Gym, which is a really simple, very, very easy to use little verb trainer. If we go onto there, it'll bring up, so obviously we're going to be looking at Spanish, and then we've got all our different tenses we've got here. So we want to look at our present perfect, we do that, and we can choose which pronouns we want to use. Let's go all verbs, and then it'll come up, and then you can have some practice with that, putting the right answers in there. So, okay, good luck with that tense. Enjoy using it. As always, muchísimas gracias. Adiós.